blah 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 blah. How old is the average Magic the Gathering player? For the longest time, I would have guessed the age to be somewhere in the mid to late teens, primarily because Magic the Gathering products all say ages 13 and up. But more recently, I feel the average age is probably higher, a lot higher. Not just people in their 20s, but probably late 20s. Magic seems to have transformed from a children's card game that everyone can enjoy to a game largely played by adults. Post-college adults. Interestingly, I'd be willing to bet a not-so-insignificant portion of these adults who currently play Magic first came to the game when they were kids. But that, of course, was coming from a generation where television would show ads like this.
I'd say the first round goes to the org.
Magic the Gathering, the trading card game.
Ravnica, where ancient guilds rule a city that covers the world.
Magic the Gathering. All you need to play is a brain, a deck, and a friend.
Hasten then. We must get to the Dwarven Gate before the others. This way.
To by Magic the Gathering, the trading card game of strategy and imagination.
Well, you won't see ads like that or any ads whatsoever playing during children's programming anymore. That's because Magic doesn't do a very good job of advertising. In fact, it doesn't do much of a job of advertising at all. Not only do commercials not run on television, things like Magic story and set trailers, which a not so insignificant amount of money is put into, are really just produced for and consumed by already established MTG players, and a very small fraction of them at that. Magic the Gathering today relies on word of mouth. Impulse buys by grandma of Planeswalker decks at Target and Walmart, and quite frankly, more than anything, on former players returning to the game. So over the last half-decade, there's been a lot of talk about developing a Magic the Gathering movie. While many established Magic players are indeed dubious to the quality such a film might have to offer, make no mistake. To make a Magic the Gathering movie is all about making an elaborate and massive ad for the game. And we need ads because we need new players getting into Magic, lest that average player age become 35, 38, 45, 48, 50? No, we need kids playing this game if we want to keep it alive. Getting kids aged 13 and up into Magic means one of the healthiest influxes of players for the long-term sustainability of the game. Kids buy or have bought for them as presents, Magic packs, supplemental product. They grow into solid patrons of their local game store, playing everything from casual games with friends to Friday night Magic events. Best of all, in the same way that I started playing at 15, and you, the viewer of this right now, very likely started playing around that age, many of these kids will become long-term players, and thus lifelong customers. But the supposed Magic the Gathering movie they have been trying to make is both very likely going to be live action and, based on them tapping a Game of Thrones writer to pen it, something aimed at more mature audiences. Recently, this Game of Thrones writer revealed he was no longer involved in the project, leading many to speculate that the MTG movie might be dead in the water, and leading me to make the call not for an MTG movie, but instead to try and get young audiences interested in Magic through a Magic the Gathering animated cartoon show. Marketed and developed for kids, but widely watched by people of all ages, a Magic the Gathering cartoon would be one of the best forms of advertisement for the game. Imagine tuning in every week to see the animated adventures of Jace and friends as they travel the multiverse and learn new spells. Visit the very same planes currently being released in Magic sets, meeting the same legendary characters from those current sets. And of course, learning the Magic spells that are actual cards in the game. How's that for an ad? There's so many examples of how a successful, long-running cartoon can capture a giant audience of kids who then grow into loyal, fanatic adults and consumers of that product, many of which already have connections to a trading card game.
Go, Muck! I choose you!
It's a Muck! But what attack could Muck possibly use against such a powerful Blastoise?
And let's be honest, the Pokémon cartoon is hardly a work of high art, but it captured audiences nonetheless, and built an empire for the game, or games, in fact, that it represented. Even today, it is still running strong, earning its own fortune. And Pokémon isn't the only example of how a cartoon can feed new players into a trading card game.
Well, so much for infinite strength. Lesson 1. Attack points don't mean everything.
Did you know that the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon actually teaches you how to play the game, and that any kid, any person watching the cartoon show can just walk in and pick up a Yu-Gi-Oh deck and already know how to play because the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon taught them the rules of the game and accurately explained how to play in the show? Imagine that for Magic the Gathering. A movie is a one-time thing. It has a high risk of failure, and even if an okay one is made, once that is done, it's done and gone. Singular. We make a movie set on Amonkhet, and we're already in Ixalan with the game. And that's assuming the movie even gets made. But a weekly cartoon, that can continue to travel through the plains, through Ravnica, through Innistrad, Amonkhet, and Ixalan, and on to Dominaria, we think, and whatever comes next. Traveling to the places that the card game travels to. That has its own cast members which reflect the face of the game, and if that face changes, so too can the cast change, creating a bridge between young audiences and the product. This is the way to go. And cartoons are something that Hasbro already knows how to make, knows how to get made, because there's already an example of a Hasbro product creating a cartoon sensation aimed at children, but that captured the obsession of adults.
And I know who you are. You're the Mare in the Moon. Nightmare Moon.
Well, well, well. Some pony who remembers me. Then you also know why I'm here.
Just give over the Magic IP to someone somewhere that can do something like that for Magic the Gathering, and the game will see a record influx of new, obsessed, and lifelong loyal customers. In the end, a Magic the Gathering cartoon is the overall best advertising that could be done for Magic the Gathering. A movie not be excluded in order to make a cartoon happen, but the cartoon is likely going to be far more successful in the long run. Aim it at children, make sure it's animated, not live action, and offer to create a world that mirrors the card game, that reflects and embraces the game, its characters, its locations, its very spells. And Magic the Gathering will continue to thrive and stay alive for generations to come. And this program was made possible thanks to a sponsorship from Card Kingdom, as well as the Patreon support of viewers such as you. So thank you.